So week one of the Biden regime, and that impeachment trial of Trump is going to go forward. They're going to do this. The man's gone. You can't impeach. Even weenie John Roberts, Chief Justice John Roberts, actually has a backbone on this one. Is that I'm not going to show up. This is Chief Justice is supposed to preside over impeachment trials in the Senate. And he's like, no. I mean, that's bad when John Roberts actually stands up and does something like that. But this is a sign of how weak the Democrats are. And I don't mean in the power that they have. They have power. But they're using that power, but they're not acting from a position of strength. All right, it's a typical classic authoritarian statist move, just like banning books and burning books and cancel culture and everything. Cancel culture is just modern day book burning. It's just the Nazis had to burn books because their ideology couldn't stand up to any scrutiny. Same thing with the communism, same thing with anything. Muslim countries, how many Muslim countries allow Bibles? Vice versa. Christian countries, you can get a Quran if you want. But it's like what Ronald Reagan said of the Soviet Union back in the 80s. He knew everything that they were built on was a lie and it was corrupt to the core, and it really wouldn't take much to push them over. You just had to have some guts and backbone like Reagan did to actually make that move and stand at the wall and say, tear down this wall. So now that doesn't mean that they're not dangerous. They're not. Again, they have power. They have both houses of Congress and they have the presidency, but they're not acting from a position of strength. The difference. What I mean, again, their ideology, everything that they've got, that they've built their movement on, is a lie, and it's corrupt. That's why they have to cancel people. That's why they have to ban people on social media, and that's why they have to try to shut people up. And this move about proceeding with the impeachment of Trump, the second impeachment trial, is just a sign of that. They're weak and they have to deflect. That's why they have to engage in character assassination. They have to attempt to destroy people's credibility. OAN, you can't trust them. They're just right-wing news or Newsmax or whatever. What makes CNN have any credibility over OAN? Well, CNN's a respectable news organization. They have Pulitzer Prize. What is Pulitzer Prize? Doesn't mean anything these days. It's the same type of people who give those out who, are fake news. But Adolf Hitler, there was a speech Hitler gave, and he was like, if we don't succeed, if we don't triumph, you can crucify me. Of course, he was saying it in German, but that might sound like somebody who's confident, but we all know Hitler was an extreme paranoia. Same thing with Stalin, because they're not confident. And that may sound like a confident statement, but he's putting himself out there so much, he's trying to compensate. In that, there was an example of him trying to compensate for not being confident. And instead of saying, you know what, if this doesn't work out, I'll step down. A confident person would say something like that. So the Democrats are behaving in the same way. They're not confident because their entire philosophy, all their principles, are based on lies. So we've got that going for them. But when you are not confident, just like Hitler and just like the communists, you act out of fear. They had power. The Nazis had power. The communists had power. They still do in China. The Democrats have power, and they, not being confident, being paranoid, they will act out of fear, and that's what's going to make them dangerous. Now, we've got going something for us on our side, and that is called the truth. But we've got some tough times up ahead. Just wanted to point that out, though. They are paranoid. They are not confident. They're not acting from a position of strength in their philosophy and their principles and everything they believe in. Everything that their movement is based off of is not strong. but they do have power, and they will act out of fear. Trump is just a vessel of that fear. He's a target. He's a leader, but it's really us that they fear. Because we were around, the Tea Party was around long before Trump was. He just got in front of it and became the leader of it. Anyhow, be excellent to each other. Sic Semper Tyrannis, and long live the Republic. We got some tough times ahead.